Good morning, children. Sai Ram. Welcome to Chapter 7 Human Environment, Settlement, Transport, and Communication. So, children, in this revision lecture, I will be giving you a gist of the entire chapter, and henceforth, in the live session, I will be taking your test based on the revision that we complete. So, let us begin. The evolution of human beings depends entirely on nature for food, clothing, shelter. But with time, they learn new skills to grow food, build homes, and develop better means of transport and communication. Settlements. Settlements are places where people build their homes. Early human beings lived on trees and in caves. When they started to grow crops, it became necessary to have a permanent home. Settlement flourished and civilization developed near rivers, valleys because of easy water availability and land fertility, just like older civilizations that grew along the banks of the river Indus, Tigris, Niles, and Wang He. So, with the development of trade, commerce, and manufacturing, human settlements became larger. Now, let us understand the types of settlements. Settlements can be divided into two categories: temporary and permanent. Temporary settlements. They are those settlements which are occupied for a short time. For example, the people living in deep forest, hot and cold deserts, and mountains often dwell in these settlements. So, they practice hunting and gathering, shifting, cultivation, and transhumance. Now let us understand about permanent settlements. In these settlements, people build homes to live in, for example, the rural and the urban settlements. So, basically, in short, settlements can be permanent or temporary. Settlements which are occupied for a short period are called temporary settlements, and settlements that we see today are permanent settlements, right? Because they are on long basis or permanent basis. So, in these settlements, people build homes to live in. Now, let us move on to urban settlements. In areas, people build houses to suit their environment. These are called rural settlements. What are they called? They are called rural settlements. So, in the regions of heavy rainfall, houses have slanting roofs. Places where water accumulates in the rainy season. The houses are constructed on a raised platform or stilts. Thick mud walls and thatch roofs are very common in the areas of hot climate. Rural settlements are made up of materials like stone, mud, clay, straws, etc. The villages are rural settlements where people are engaged in activities like agriculture, fishing, forestry, craft work, and trading. Rural settlements can be compact or scattered. A compact settlement is a closely built area of dwellings wherever flat land is available. In scattered settlements, dwellings are spaced over an extensive area. Now, this type of settlement is mostly found in hilly tracts, thick forest, and regions of extreme climate. Urban settlements. In urban settlements, the towns are small and the cities are larger urban settlements. In urban areas, the people are engaged in manufacturing, trading, and services. Right? So, the area or the dwelling that we live in, the settlement that we are in, is comes under rather urban settlements. Children, I hope you have your pen and pencil handy with you. So, if you think whatever is important, you may just note it down. Okay. Now we move on to the next topic, that is transport. What is transport? Transport is the means by which people and goods move. Right? In early days, it took a great deal of time to travel long distances. People had to walk and use animals to carry their goods. Invention of wheel made transport easier. So, as time passed, different means of transport developed. But even today, people use animals for transport. In our country, donkeys, mules, bullocks, and camels are common, right? These are the animals that we use, or rather people of rural areas use for transportation. Now it need not be transportation to move from one place to another. It can also be transportation of goods, right? In the Andes Mountains of South America, llamas are used and yaks are used in Tibet. So llamas are used in South America, right? And yaks are used in Tibet. Remember this. The early traders from other countries used to take several months to reach India. So what did they do? They took either the sea route or the land route. And after the invention of aeroplanes, or during the aeroplane era, traveling became faster, and it takes now only 6 to 8 hours to travel from India to Europe. So basically it is the modern means of transport, and thus it saves time and energy. But do you think it is very cheap? Airways? No, it isn't, right? Yes. Now let us move on to the next subtopic, that is means of transport. So there are basically 4 major means of transport, like roadways, railways, waterways, and airways. Roadways are the most commonly used means of transport. Now, roads that are used as the means of transport for short distances are or might be metalled or pakka, and unmetalled or kacha roads. Right? The plains have dense network of roads. So how is the network on plains? It is dense network. Yes. Roads have also been built in terrains like desert, forest and even high mountains. The Manali Leh Highway in Himalayan mountain is one of the highest roadways in the world. Remember, Manali Leh Highway in the Himalayan mountains is one of the highest roadways in the world. Subways or underpaths are built underground the roads, whereas flyovers are built over raised structures. So you have to remember all these small things, very easy. Basically, most of us know about the subways, right? And flyovers, so we all see in our daily lives also when we go out. There are a lot of flyovers over here also in Thane on Ghodbanda Road. Yeah. Now we move on to the next topic, that is the railways. Now the railways carry heavy goods and people over long distances quickly and cheaply. The invention of the steam diesel and electric engines have largely replaced the steam engines. In places, super-fast trains have been introduced to make the journey faster. The railway network is well developed over plain areas. Advanced technological skills have enabled laying of the railway lines in difficult mountain terrains also. But these are very few in number. Indian railway network is well developed and it is one of the largest one in Asia. So now we move on to the next topic, that is waterways. Waterways are the cheapest for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distances. They are mainly of two types, that is inland waterways and sea routes. So what are inland waterways? Navigable rivers and lakes are used as inland waterways. For example, the Ganga Brahmaputra river system, the Great Lakes in North America, and the river Nile in Africa. Okay, and then we have sea routes. So what are sea routes? These routes are mostly used for transporting merchandise and goods from one country to another. These routes are connected with the ports. So now that we know about waterways, that is inland and sea routes, I will be taking communications in the live session, but I want you all to read the entire chapter because in the next live session I will be taking your test on this particular chapter. So I want all of you prepared. I may take small questions, I may take big questions, I may ask you orally, I may ask you to write and show. Okay, so all of you be prepared. So I end this session over here. See you in the next live session. Till then, goodbye and keep learning. Right? Any which ways our exams are nearing. So instead of wasting our time, let us all start studying thoroughly now. Bye.